Alrighty guys, we're gonna do a little bit here on the pinpointing ability. I used to have a very hard time pinpointing with my 505, but the 505 was a concentric coil, and I really didn't know if I was gonna be able to pinpoint on this coil right here. And what I've done on this, guys, I put a little white tape right on the center line because, as you know, the double D coils, they are a blade. Okay, so they do not detect around the entire circumference of this. What they do is they have a blade right down the center. So if you think that you've got like a butcher knife right down the center of this, it's going to detect right along this line. And this little white line here, it's just for me. It gives me a point of reference when I'm going back and forth across the ground because it's just a black coil, and I'm not used to detecting with a closed coil. Normally I have them open, and this didn't have one like that. So this is for me. I know I'm weird, guys. You know, bear with me, please. But this is great for me. We're going to show you a little bit about detecting and pinpointing with this thing. Now, I was reading a lot of forums, and it says right here, there's a sticker. There's a sticker right here that says Xterra, and everybody claims this is the sweet spot, and that when you go here and you pinpoint, you're going to get a circle. This circle. And there's going to be another circle in the center that will go complete as you get near this guy. Yeah, so even for a split second, when you're out there waving the coil back and forth, you get your signal and you turn your pinpointer on, and when you move it back and forth like that, you're going to get that double signal. And if it's even for a split second that it hits that full peak mark, it's supposed to be directly underneath this guy. And my experience today that I've tried it, and you know what? I dug a little teeny plug right up underneath it, and it was underneath that dot. Now, on the chat site that I go to, we've talked about pinpointing the double D coil, and the other trick you can have, it's called the wiggle. All right. Now, the way the wiggle works here is that when you detect a dot, it's only going to detect it right here along the center spine of this double D coil. When you get a target, you put it right over the top, and you're binging it back and forth. Right where it stops, it's going to be called a toe. Right here. All right. So the easiest way to do it is like this. And right when it falls off, it's going to be right in the front of this coil, right here, because it doesn't really detect right here in the front. Okay, it will detect all along this line from the back to the front. And it breaks up right here in the front. It just breaks up and falls right off. Okay, so immediately, as soon as that happens there, your coin should be right in this little quadrant, within like a half an inch, like a little half-inch square. You can go ahead and dig your plug right here, and you should be able to find your coin right there. I tried the method right down the center. It does work. It does work, man. It works really well. Like, I say 90% of the time. But without having to use the pinpointer, just using the wiggle. And right when it falls off, it'll fall off right at the nose. Right there. It'll be right in this area. Okay? So if you are going to get this detector and you use this, try them both. Like I said, the double coil there, when the center coil lines up, it's not going to just stay there and hold solid. No. It's going to go wham, wham. And when it closes up like that, it's going to be right underneath here. And if you can't detect that way, do the wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Right when it breaks, it should be right in this area. The pinpointing was very easy, guys. I have a very big pet peeve about detectors that have a problem with pinpointing. Even if the detector is great, if the pinpointing stinks, it loses my vote. Because I like to be efficient when I go to the parks, and I don't want to leave my parks looking like the moon, okay, with craters all over the place. You know, I want to be very efficient when I dig my plugs. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about how big my actual plugs are. I would say for the most part, my biggest plug is going to be maybe this size. My smallest plug should be about this size. Alright, so when I take my Slush Digger and I cut around, I only like to make a hole about this size here, about the size of my hand. And then you lift the plug up. And then what you have should be inside that hole between 2 to 6 inches at a park. Okay? And if you pinpoint correctly, you can get away with digging a hole only this size here, about the size of your hand, pulling it up, getting your money out of the hole, whatever you find. Okay? And as you can see, like a typical quarter. This is not a very big hole. But if you can detect in this range right here and pinpoint to that accuracy, look at the size of the plug. It shouldn't be no bigger than that. Okay, and if you can do that, you're going to leave the park looking nice, and you're not going to get kicked out for making atrocious holes. Alright, so this coil, guys, 18.75. How does it perform? It performs wonderfully. Coin shooting, relic, jewelry. I can't say anything about prospecting because I'm not a prospector and I probably won't get out there looking for gold nuggets. But with the prospector mode and this frequency, it will pick up the small targets. Alrighty, guys, what else can I say? There you have it, man. 705 Xterra detector. I give this guy's 5 out of 5 stars. I give this guy a total 5 stars. I mean, Minelab got my money once before with the 505, and I tried it with the concentric coil. I wasn't happy with it. I was having a very difficult time. I went out there with this guy today, and it was a blessing. Unfortunately, the weather started getting kind of bad. The wind was kicking up, and it was getting kind of cold, and I had to get out of that park, man. And yeah, I'm going to try to get out there tomorrow and play around with this a little bit more. But for what this is, guys, I believe that this thing is selling for right around $600 right now. I don't think I've seen it any less than that. Maybe slightly under $550, $600, like that. Is it worth the money? I really think it is, guys. You know, and another thing too we had a discussion about is, you know, are these detectors overpriced? And good point about it. The good detectors, it's not about what you have in your hand. The good detectors, you're paying for the equipment, you're paying for the experience, you're paying for the customer service, and you're paying for a warranty. And the good companies that charge a lot more for their detectors, they have 5 stars in all those departments. With all the features that you're getting for this guy right here, with the automatic ground, with the automatic tracking, with the backlight, and the 3 frequency adjust, I really think you're getting your value out of this model right here. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Ground Signals. I hope this was able to help you in some way in making a buying decision of whether you want to go out there and buy this model. Alright, so if you have any questions, go ahead and you can go ahead and leave a message down below, and I'll try to get those answered in as soon a time frame as possible. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you back here with my next review. Take care, guys.